Hello fellow travelers, my name is SG and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be doing another book series that I really enjoy and that I think not a lot of people know about, but all those who do seem to really enjoy it themselves. And I thought that this was such a odd and weird concept that I just had to talk about it. I just recently purchased the last volume that will be out, because that is the end of the series, volume 3, and it is Operation Joker, where Joker has to raise a baby Batman. Let's go on, shall we? One Operation Joker, or aka Joker, was released by Kodansha manga company. It is a manga created by Satoshi Miyagami and the illustration by Kaizuki Goto. The premise itself is a little odd for some of you who aren't really comic book fans, more just follow the shows, movies, and all that, where during a fight with the Joker, Batman suddenly falls into a chemicals, which regresses him back into a baby. The Joker, kind of thrilled that he won, but at the same time is at a loss because he won. He's not supposed to win. He wants to have this iconic fight with Batman. He wants to keep the rivalry alive. So now that Batman is fully defeated or unable to continue his mission, Joker starts to feel this emptiness growing in him. And with that in mind, he looks over at the baby Batman and sees that he wants to raise this baby Batman to become the Batman that he knows. No, he wants to raise it to be even better, to become a better detective, a better service of justice. He wants to make the perfect Batman so that sometime in the future he can fight him and they can have the ultimate battle of good versus evil. Now, for some of you out there like me, who have been into comic books for a very long time, the idea of Batman becoming a baby is not a different idea. It's been done before several times, sometimes as a joke, sometimes as just a small part of a storyline. This is the first time we actually see Joker being involved in the same storyline in that regard in this situation. And while the story does make itself more of a comedy vibe, there is a lot of heart in this. There is something different about this. If you're looking for an in-depth analysis on the Joker and Batman, you're definitely not going to get it here. I'm just going to say that flat out right now. Because this is done as more of a feel-good storyline, a wholesome storyline, a confusing storyline starring the Joker and Batman as a baby. But you could tell that there is a heart to it, that there is a story here that does need to be told, and maybe somebody needs to hear it. Because this is a story about parenting, this is a story about seeing through new eyes, this is a story about experiencing love that's different that you've ever known, an unconditional love. And that's what's interesting about it, because you don't expect that from a character like the Joker. And this is a story about opening up to other people, asking them for help. Some you consider a partner, some you just consider just being there, and not really seeing them as main components of your life, but them becoming bigger parts of it. Like I said, this is a story that has layers upon layers, and the only thing that I'm sad about is that it only has 3 volumes. So, with that being said, let's move on to characters, shall we? The first character we're going to focus on right now is the Joker himself, because he, being the title character, does go through so many emotions in this. He has so many turns of characters. He's bending to things that he never thought he would. He's seeing things for the first time. He's seeing decency for the first time in a minute, according to his dialogue in this. And it's just showing through his expressions and the way he acts and treats people. He is becoming a better person, and he is evolving in a way that no one has ever thought of evolving the Joker in any way that I can think of, other than like maybe a what if. True, it's still the Joker. He still has the tendencies for violence and the occasional destruction of public property, but we can really see him growing to love a family in a weird situation like this. There's also Harley Quinn that we see in this, who is taking not a main center role as a mother figure, but definitely does want to take that role. You see her actually getting to know Joker as a father, and is actually kind of enjoying this, enjoying the stability the Joker can have if his attention was focused on something positive. we also got Johnny, who is a henchman that Joker didn't really think much of before the story, but has grown to be a bigger help to him than he could have possibly imagined. Johnny himself is a reference to another comic, which I will talk about in a little bit, but he becomes a more recurring character as Johnny rather than unknown thug 1, and it just becomes interesting how his and Joker's friendship really does evolve throughout the story. And then there's Baby Bats, or Little Bruce, depending on where in the story you are. He is just there as a baby, so there's not much to say about his character. But the way it affects everybody else for the better really does a lot of good for the characters. And also there's this idea that there's just this reoccurring trauma that Bruce Wayne has to go under towards the end of the 3rd volume that really does make it interesting, that does enact a certain character development that we've seen before, but adds a new layer upon it. So yeah, the characters here are interesting, they're in depth, and they're something that we haven't really seen in many modern interpretations, and that is that characters can be complex. They can have likes and dislikes, and they can be their own people, and not everything being in black and white really does set this whole thing up for me as the most part. The artwork for the most part is fine. It looks good. It looks just like, Batman and Robin kind of style. But, there are certain things I can see people not liking, such as the Joker with makeup on, or maybe the Batsuit looks a little clunkier, but for the most part, you do get used to the artwork. And it is fine. It's very vibrant, very alive, and does lead itself to more of being more relaxed compared to other works Batman and Joker have been a part of in the past before. Now, the references, I could go on and on all day with them. There are so many and so well placed that I'm probably just going to name a few, just that I could name off the top of my head. But if you've read the book, or if you're curious to look it up yourself, please let me know all the references you caught down in the comments, because I would really like to hear them. The obvious ones are like, we see Joker dancing on the stairs when he is happy Bruce is doing fine. That's from the Joker movie itself. We do see several references to the Killing Joke with the way the Joker holds the camera. We do have little shadows covering the Joker's eyes from the animated series. And going back to the character Johnny, he himself, I believe, is a reference to a book just titled Joker. Almost, kind of where this title comes from, where we saw through the perspective of a henchman, I believe named Johnny, who was watching the private life of Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship. It's a funny add-on if it really is the reference, but that's just what I could gather from that. We also have a lot of references to Harley Quinn's original outfit from the animated series, making appearances here and there. Of course, the ending scene being a reference to the Wayne family death, which is very fun. I can go on and on, like I said, but please let me know if there are some that I missed or some that you would just like to make note of, because I myself am very interested in picking all the little bits here and there. Oh, and then there is Robin just being Robin, hinting that there is no definitive Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, or even Dick Grayson being Robin. We don't really know, but he does kind of resemble what the old school Batman series would have looked like, mixed with like the 66 vibe going. We do get a lot of 66 jokes from the Adam West era Batman series, and I think that's even where they got the idea for Riddler at the end being a main antagonist, kind of. Even his look kind of reminds me of a mix of Jim Carrey's and the original 1966 Batman series Riddler. So, what can I say about this overall? The one thing I can say for sure is that it has a lot of heart. It has something that does grab the attention and the imagination of the reader, which is not something I could say to a lot of series out there currently. like, by no means do I think you should take this as a serious addition to the overall Batman storyline. But this does fit as its own thing. This does fit as its own universe. And to where the point where I would really like to see this continue. I would have really liked it to go on at least 2 more volumes. To see Joker grow as a parent and see how Harley Quinn takes up as the mother role. But I think this is a good area to stop. I think this really does fit with like a short series as just a 3-volume thing, and that only a few people will know of it. It does capture something. It captures pretty much what it's like to be a parent, a single parent, or maybe even just having to go out there, having a newborn kid, and just trying your best, but not sure if you're doing it right. The difference in this Joker compared to other Jokers is that this one actually wants Bruce Wayne, or Baby Bruce, depending on where you stand, to become something better, to become something more impressive than himself and than Batman was. Because even the idea of him giving little Bruce the name Bruce came because he was grateful that Bruce Wayne's foundation had made it easier so that kids could go into school for free, so that they could go to a preschool or daycare and learn to become, go on to elementary. He chose that name because he was dealing with a real world issue of not knowing would he be able to help support a baby like this, because he kind of realized all his past actions weren't profiting him in any way, wasn't helping what he has to do now. So now he has to change his ways. He has to be a responsible adult in some way, shape, or form. And that's something he never thought he would have to do. But as we see him taking the idea of being a parent more and more serious. We see him wanting to support baby Bruce like it was his own kid. And we see how it affected all those around him, how it made them better, how it made Johnny want to connect to his own son, how it made Harley Quinn see Joker in a new light and want to support him as just a regular wife and or person. There is this heart to it that, like, you could tell that whoever wrote this really did have an experience either raising a small child or news people that did, because you get that vibe. It's such an interesting and weird concept, but it works. It works in the humor. It works in the heart. And that's just something I can't say about a lot of different works nowadays. So, for the most part, I do think it deserves your attention. I do think that you probably shouldn't go into this like with a stern idea of what the storyline should or shouldn't be, and just sit there and enjoy the ride, because that's pretty much what I did. I didn't know what to expect from a series like this. I just bought it because, it's Joker raising a baby Batman. That's such an odd concept, but in a way it worked in a lot of senses, and I can appreciate that, and I can admit that. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I'm a little later than usual, but that's just life sometimes. I'm sorry again for that, but I thank you for being patient, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below if you want to say something about it, or subscribe. That would really help me out along the way. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and hope to see you guys again next time. See ya.